Daniela, hi, and thanks so much for joining us this week with Retail Reboot. Really good to have you on board, and obviously we've just been chatting and getting to know each other a little bit. It's really good to understand your background and where you've come from and what sort of brought you into e-commerce. But so today we're going to be talking a little bit about Woodland Leathers and the growth and challenges along with growth that Woodland Leathers are facing, and particularly with these strange times during coronavirus. But perhaps we'd be able to give a little bit of an introduction about Woodland Leathers and where the business has come from and what the goals of the business are.
Yeah, sure. So thanks for having me, first of all.
No problem.
I have been working for Woodland Leathers for about a year now. So I've had a chance to actually get to know the company and its co-founders, and it's been quite an interesting journey. It's a very interesting company, actually, because it's a family business that has managed to actually turn into quite a successful big company, which is always interesting to see. I have a background in startups, actually. So going from a startup environment to then a family business, which is actually well structured and well established, was quite interesting. They have been around for over 50 years. So as you can imagine, they are well known in the industry. They know what they're doing, and it was good from an employee point of view, because I had a chance to learn while I was working with people who are highly experienced and know what they're doing. They are primarily focused on the production of leather garments and accessories, and they have been since the 1960s, when they started out in Brick Lane, London. Whereas now we are based in Essex, where they have quite a nice warehouse with all our products in it.
Yeah.
And of course, this expansion has also meant that they weren't able to keep handcrafting all the products, and that's why now we work with factories in Italy, Turkey, India, China. So
Okay.
it's quite a global business. We do of course also sell worldwide via our website, which means that we only have a fulfillment center here in the UK, but we are able to still ship abroad on a quite a fast basis, I would say. We do flash sales as well in Europe, which gives us a chance to get our brand out there and get recognized in other countries, which is of course always a bonus point for any e-commerce.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's been interesting to be with them, of course, during COVID, because it was new for everyone. So we're all in the same situation. Myself as a new member of the team, and the co-founders who were dealing with COVID and then now Brexit. So it's been an interesting learning curve with lots of twists and turns.
A lot going on, eh?
Yeah, lots
A
going
lot
on.
going on. Oh, that's great. That's great, and it's great to actually have you on board as part of this Retail Reboot, particularly as a UK founded business, and seeing the growth. The business that just started in Brick Lane all those years ago has now become bigger and bigger, and will continue to do so, I'm sure. So you joined Woodland Leathers last year. You've been there about a year, I think.
Mm-hmm.
With a background in e-commerce management, and you've been appointed head of e-commerce, it was a pretty crucial point, being coronavirus and having various lockdowns throughout the year. Presumably, it's been very demanding, but equally exciting, I assume.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it was important for me to show that I actually knew what I was doing and that I was capable of handling this crisis within the company. Because, of course, being a young person who's just been employed by a family business, they care greatly about their company, as they should.
Absolutely.
And it was important that I would prove to them that I do care about the company as well and its values, which are, of course, producing high quality garments and accessories at an accessible price. Of course, it's luxury items, but they are accessible, which is important, especially in this climate. So it was exciting. It was exciting to show them that I knew what I was doing and that I was trying to do my best to keep the company's interest at heart. And it's been challenging, because when you're young and you've just joined the company, it's difficult to show, for instance, suppliers or other clients that you are someone who's trustworthy and who's in charge. But I think over the past year, I've been able to establish some good relationships with our suppliers, with our clients, and now I'm part of the team and I'm recognized as a member of the team. So it's good.
Okay, wow. So you've had quite a bit to overcome. So it's not just not just the challenge that lots of retailers have been facing because of coronavirus pandemic, but it's also the fact that you're new to the business, relatively new to the industry, building your own profile as well. That's a lot to manage. So you've now got quite a breadth of experience across in e-commerce and the workings of e-commerce with some previous experience as well. What do you think in the last year has been the biggest change that you've seen in retail?
Well, in retail in general, definitely there's been a movement going from in-store retail to online. Of course, there are still some companies who have decided they're going to stick with stores and avoid online at all costs, which I suppose is dependent on the type of business model that they have. For us in particular, being online has been crucial to our business. We haven't seen a drop in sales, which has obviously been a blessing, because so many companies have had to shut or have had to reduce their staff, which hasn't happened to us, luckily. I think also, since we also offer a leather repair service, and we also sell some leather care products, we have seen a huge increase in sales of leather care products and repair services. I would assume probably because people are starting to be more careful on how they spend their money, especially in such a strange time. And of course, sustainability has become bigger and bigger, which is great. And that's why I believe people are starting to take care of their belongings more. So rather than buying a new bag every year, they would just buy one really good bag and make it last, which is ultimately
so the business has seen you've seen an increase on previous years in the repair service that you have available.
Yes, definitely. And in the leather care products that we also sell. So we do sell products that are used to take care of your items. So rather than selling you a bag and then saying, okay, once it's broken, come back and buy a new one, we sell you a bag, and then we also say, look after this bag because it can last you for 10, 20 years to come. You're not going to have to buy a new one again.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, great. And I think people are rightly more conscious of certainly the environment, but taking care of things and making things last. I mean, there's that old phrase, they don't make them like they used to, which we hear so often. And I think to a certain degree that's possibly the case. And we've become, maybe over the last 20 or 30 years, a very, if I can put it like that, a disposable society where we're used to just using something and throwing it away. But hopefully, and particularly in your case at Wood and Leathers, it's almost the opposite, where you're encouraging people to retain what they have and have it repaired and continue to use it for years to come. That's really interesting. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I think one could argue that it goes against our interests, because people are gonna buy less from us, but ultimately it doesn't, because we're showing people that we do care about the product. We care about the customers as well. It's not just about selling. It's about making sure that we're selling something that is actually valuable, that is actually gonna last, and that customers can actually grow to love. So I think that nowadays that's a big point that goes in our favor.
No, I think you're right. Absolutely right. There's a slight aside here, but there's I think it's really important how retailers project themselves and the service that they offer to their consumers. I am a user of a particular brand of Wellington boots, a well-known brand. And I wear particularly expensive Wellington boots, which are leather lined and they have a zip up the side. And unfortunately now that company has decided that they will not be repairing the zips. What happens when you're out in, I live out in the country, but when you're out in the country and you get mud stuck in a zip or whatever, sometimes after a few years, these can break. And the company used to offer a service to repair the zip, so you could send them in, and for say £50 or whatever it is, I don't know the amount, but I could then send them away and they'd come back the same boots but with new zips. Mm-hmm. They then stopped doing that, which forces you to buy a new pair of boots, which are now £360. So and that's really not encouraging consumers in my mind to go back. So I found a little company, actually in this case up in Cambridgeshire, who were able to repair the zips at a much better cost. Now, I would argue that this company who sold me the boots would be better to do the repairs, because then I'd want to continue going back to them. When these boots have finally, they finally had it and I can't do any more to them, I would question now whether or not to buy from that business again, because they're not going to look to service the expensive product that I've already bought from them.
Well, we've seen this issue with many customers over the past few months, actually, where we've had a lot of jackets being sent in by customers who have bought them from big designer brands. So we're talking about high fashion brands, not just, your usual high street brands. It's luxury items. And the issue is that none of these brands offer a repair service, which is crazy, because if you're spending 500, 600 pounds on a jacket, you want the aftercare, you want the brand to be there for you when it breaks. And none of these brands are actually doing that. So we're there for customers, and customers are always then saying, okay, then if you're offering repairs and you offer such a good customer care, then maybe my next jacket will come from you rather than these big, huge brands.
Absolutely. I think people are increasingly now prepared to spend a bit more money when they effectively receive a better service for it. And they know they want to go back to that customer.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So Daniela, you recently wrote an article for The Drum about the effects of lockdown on e-commerce. What innovations in particular have you seen which help businesses adapt to the restrictions of coronavirus?
Well, I think primarily it would be a matter of delivering goods quick and easy, which I think is what customers were most concerned about. The main issue we've had to face over the past few months was customers saying, where is my order? When is it going to come? Who's going to bring it to me? How is this going to work? So that was the main concern that we had. And that's why we've tried to work with new delivery companies, to supply our goods in the fastest possible way. This, of course, has been challenging because, as everyone is aware now, there has been huge backlogs of orders and delays with any and every courier company possible, starting from Royal Mail to Hermes. So, of course, it was difficult to find someone who was actually reliable during a pandemic. But we have managed to stay on top of everything. And even though there has been a few hiccups along the way where parcels would get lost, or they would go to the wrong address, or they wouldn't even leave the warehouses, we have always offered the top-notch customer service, which has kept our ratings really good. We've kept our customers really happy because we've immediately rectified it and said, okay, you haven't received it, we're going to send a new one out straight away, no question asked, which I think is crucial. Customers want to trust the brands they're buying from. Yes, it's not our fault. We haven't lost the parcel. The courier has lost it, but we have to deliver the goods. So
absolutely. And do you have a review type solution available online so your customers can review the products, the solution, the service, and things like that? Is that something you see value in?
Yeah, definitely. We tend to ask for Google reviews. We do get the occasional reviews on, obviously, Amazon, Etsy, our website, but Google is the main one. And our reviews have gone up and up over years, and we've got quite high rankings now on Google thanks to these reviews. Most of them, you probably see, that are for our repairs. People they just love our repairs because we are quite quick, we're quite effective, and you can tell that when you come in to bring us a jacket, we actually look after it. It's our passion. We want to make sure that our that jacket is repaired in the best possible way. So then the reviews reflect that sort of service. Then, of course, when it comes to buying goods from us, you will see that on Etsy, we have tons of reviews on how fast the service was, our customer service. We try to answer our messages within a few hours. That, of course, is important because people nowadays are always on their computers, on their phones. And if you send a message and you don't hear back after a couple of hours, you get suspicious somehow. We're used to having
we all want things to happen immediately, don't we? Now we can't wait. I sent them a message. Why have I not heard back? It was 2 minutes ago I sent that message.
Yeah. Well, funny enough,
we don't seem to have any comprehension that things take time still.
Exactly. Well, funny enough, we had a customer over Christmas. He sent us a message. I think it was on Christmas Eve, and we didn't reply until after Boxing Day. And he was so disappointed that we didn't reply. But of course, we explained to him that we are a family business. We're not a huge company, so it's important for us to have time with our families and take time off from the business and then get back to our customers on the first business day when we're back. So yeah, it's a challenge, but I think it's worth the hustle, definitely.
Absolutely agree. So in your article in the Drum, you touched on increased demand with deliveries over the Christmas period, possibly pushing things over the edge, I think was how you put it. We're now on the other side. Do you think that that has remained the case throughout? And do you think that will continue to be, very, very high demand on logistics and delivery companies now that there has been this obvious shift across to everything happening online, really?
Well, the pressure is slightly off now. We've seen a reduction in orders, which is typical. Usually in January you do see a reduction, so we were prepared for that. We are still receiving more orders than we did last January, probably because people now are used to just buying things online. And I suspect when shops are going to reopen, it's going to be difficult to say if they're going to go back to their normal standards or if it's actually dropped and become more. And it's become more of an e-commerce situation where people are just buying online rather than going to stores. That, of course, is hard to predict, especially because I'm not an expert on retail, but it's hard. We have been able to stay on top of everything. Now we're dealing with the aftermath of our Christmas deliveries.
Yeah.
So all the customers that didn't receive anything, in particular in the US or Canada or Australia, of course, it takes longer to get our goods delivered there. So now we're starting to get people saying, oh, I didn't receive my parcel. So now it's the matter of figuring out where the parcels are and how to get them to the customers, even though it's a bit late. But I think customers are now more understanding of the delays that are happening as well. So while at first everyone was like, oh, but there's a courier, just get it from your warehouse to my door. It's not that difficult. Now people are starting to understand, okay, wait, maybe the courier is stuck at customs. Maybe the driver has tested positive for COVID. There's so many factors that one has to factor in now that customers are finally starting to realize, let's give it another week and then we can get in touch with the supplier and see what's happened to my parcel. So that's.
So you think that although there is customers are demanding, you're finding that there is a bit more sympathy as a result of coronavirus and the effect that can have?
Yeah, 100%. I think the first, I would say probably 3 or 4 months, customers were all over the place. They were all going crazy about why is it taking so long? Why is it not being delivered? Whereas now everyone knows, we're all on the same page. We know what's happening. We know the goods are coming. It's just going to take a bit longer. And I think people are starting to become a bit more patient as well, despite all these big companies offering same day or next day delivery. People are starting to finally figure out that a small family business can't afford to offer same day delivery the way Amazon would.
Yeah, exactly. Very good. That leads me actually on to my next question. So this is quite a long one. With competitors like Amazon still fulfilling their next day delivery, how do you think other retailers can keep up? Do you think next day delivery should be put on hold while we're still expecting disruptions? I see Woodland Leathers actually that offers worldwide shipping, but how has that been affected throughout the pandemic?
Right. Well, I don't think we should put next day deliveries on hold because we can still try and offer that service. Now, if the service is not 100% perfect, then it's down to the customer to understand that it's because of what's going on with COVID. And of course, it's down to us as a business to inform the customers of what's going on and why that's happening. So the biggest thing we've done is create a banner on the website saying, we are still going to dispatch same day, but it's going to take a few days extra to be delivered. So don't panic. It is coming. Just give it a couple extra days. And we're, of course, always happy to help any customer that has any sort of concern. So when we do get a call or an email regarding tracking, we're more than happy to go onto the courier's website and check the tracking for them. And if that's the case, get in touch with the courier and figure out where the order is. We are still aiming to dispatch all orders on the same day.
Yeah.
That includes, of course, worldwide orders, which are a bit harder to get right because especially now with Brexit, we are finding that there is new paperwork to be filled out. There's going to be new norms that we're going to have to follow. So we're kind of adjusting the business in order to create as little disruption as possible to our customers. I think the biggest concern right now is to get everything right, make sure that we're ready for when everything should go back to normal after COVID hopefully ends, hopefully.
Whatever that normal may look like, yeah.
Exactly. And then start offering the same high quality service we were offering before COVID happened.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, I mean, that's really interesting that you are very clearly setting the expectation to your customer that, you know, essentially we're here, we're doing everything we can to provide this service, but don't be surprised if there are a few changes. Do you think consumers have become really too demanding and expecting too much from retailers generally in what they're able to do? And do you think that's possibly as a result of, you know, enormous businesses? So do you think consumers have become incredibly demanding? And do you think that shift in demand by the consumer has come about because of enormous businesses like Amazon in particular, who are able to fulfill so incredibly efficiently and give the consumer stuff immediately? Do you think that's had a big impact on consumers being demanding?
Oh, well, yeah, I do think so. And I see it in myself, first of all. So it's not just about consumers. I myself am in the business. I am in e-commerce. And when I order something online, as soon as I get tracking, I start clicking on it, even though I know it hasn't even left the warehouse yet. So I think as people, we have become so impatient and so used to having everything turn up so quickly that then waiting an extra 2 days seems like the end of the world, which is not. So I think people are demanding, and possibly it's because of Amazon. We've got so used to this 24-hour delivery that to us, why should I wait 48 hours when I can have it in half the time? But then again, people are starting to realize that they would rather wait a little bit longer and get something that actually has been handcrafted by a family business or a small startup or a small business, rather than getting something delivered so quickly that doesn't really have that much love and work go into it. So I think it's a matter of what you're buying, why are you buying it, and what you want from it. So if you're buying something that doesn't really have a huge meaning to you, it's just, I don't know, some paper for your printer, then you might as well get a 24-hour delivery from Amazon. But if you're buying a leather jacket for your mum or a nice handbag for your wife or your girlfriend, then why not buy it from a business that actually loves what they're doing and takes a little bit longer to deliver it to you, but is actually going to deliver it to you with care?
Absolutely.
So, yeah,
completely agree, and that makes sense. Thank you. So you spoke in your article to 10 brands, I believe, regarding their preparation for the holiday season. That's now supposedly over, although we're still in very much in January sale time. I know sort of most evenings I'm sort of scratching my head thinking what I might want to buy in a few months' time, and can I buy it now for less money? But tell me, how did Woodland Leathers prepare for what we now call the holiday season, for everything leading up to Christmas and the January sales?
Well, it was a bit of a strange holiday season because we had reduced staff working. So there was only one person taking care of the technical side of things in the warehouse, and there was only one member of staff picking and packing. So it was a huge challenge for him, of course, to having to pack 200-300 orders a day by himself. On the other hand, I tried working from home to do as much as possible. So make sure that all the customer queries, the supplier queries, everything was clear and we were on top of everything, which was challenging, but at the same time rewarding, because when you then break up for your Christmas holidays, you know you've done everything, there's nothing left undone. And when you start in January, you're going to start fresh. So a clean slate, everything new, and then we take it from there. I think the biggest thing we did to prepare for the holiday season was to send out a newsletter and prepare some banners for our website, preparing the customers' expectations. So saying, if you want to receive something for Christmas, please make sure you order by this date. If you are in the US or in Australia, please know that you might not receive it for Christmas, because we did not want to disappoint our customers. It would be easy to say, oh, place your order, you will get it. If you don't, we'll deal with it after.
Yeah.
Whereas we said, look, you might not get it, so it might be worth that you buy from someone who's closer to you rather than buying it from us. That could have pushed customers away, but ultimately, in the long run, it's also shown customers that we do care about them and that they can.
And they value your honesty and the fact that you're being very straightforward about it, I expect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that was the biggest preparation we did. I think it worked because we didn't have to deal with too many last minute orders that were to be dispatched before Christmas. So that was important for us. Of course, we did have to work over the holidays to some extent. So the two co-founders, Avi and Param, still managed to go in on Christmas Eve and Boxing Day to pack a few last minute orders and send them out to suppliers or people who were expecting some samples from us for the January sales. So suppose it's something very common with family businesses. It just blends in with your personal life, and you can't really tell when you're doing business and when you're actually just taking care of your life. So I think it's normal. It's rewarding at the end of the day because you know you've got a business that works really well, and that's rewarding. And that's of course keeping a roof over your head, which is nowadays is very important because people are losing their jobs. There is uncertainty going on in the world, so it's good to know that we have a valuable business to look after.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with you. So that was what it sounds as though that was a combination of preparing and setting customers' expectations, as well as working every single hour that you had available because you have so few people on the ground. So well done for managing to get through that. That's a huge achievement in itself. So what part do payments in particular play in Woodland Leather's success? Is your payment process, do you believe, as frictionless as possible? And are you looking to innovate in this area of the business both now and going forward?
Well, as a high quality leather business, we try to offer luxury items, which therefore are going to cost a little bit more.
Yeah.
So it's normal for customers to want different payment options at checkout. So we do find that people who really want a bag or a jacket would rather pay in installments than having to say, okay, I can't buy it now, I'm going to have to wait until the next sales. So to us, it was crucial to have as many payment options as possible to offer our customers the peace of mind of knowing that they can still buy what they like without having to worry about money too much. I think it is quite frictionless. We've had a few hiccups along the way, as in some of these payment options didn't work the way we wanted them to work.
Okay.
We had to adjust a few things, perhaps get rid of some of these payment options or maybe onboard some new ones. But ultimately, I think now we're at a point where we know that our payment options are quite varied. They're quite sensible, I would think, and that they work for our customers. And of course, it also adds a layer of trustworthiness, because when a customer sees that they can buy something with a certain payment option they may have seen advertised on, I don't know, the tube or on YouTube or on TV.
Yeah.
To them, it's okay, I can trust this brand because they've got this payment option that is backing them. So, and nowadays, especially with our target audience, which is 50 plus, they tend to be quite skeptical of buying things online, which is completely understanding. So seeing that they can buy in installments to them is a sort of a way of saying, okay, even if it doesn't go 100% right, I've only paid for one installment. It's not too bad.
Okay, that's interesting. So you've seen, because obviously I'm aware on your website you've got a number of different BNPL or buy now pay later options, giving you the ability, as you said, to pay in installments. And it's generally thought that is used by a younger demographic in order to split up a larger payment. So obviously you're selling goods which are in the luxury space, a lot of them. So you're going to have a larger basket size. It makes sense that someone's going to want to spread that over 1, 2, 3 months rather than pay everything up front. But I'm interested that you have seen that with a slightly older demographic and not just generation X, Y, and Z as we call them. But you've definitely seen a shift there, have you?
Yeah, I think it's a matter of trust. We see that most of our demographic, which is 50 plus, as I said, tends to prefer to pay over the phone or get in touch with us before buying something, possibly because they are not too sure if their website is safe to buy from. Maybe if that's
Okay.
the first time they're buying from Woodland Leathers, they they can't recognize their name, so they think, okay, is this Woodland Leathers actually legit? Can I buy from them? Am I going to be fine? Am I going to receive this jacket? So they tend to call us and say, oh, can I pay over the phone, or perhaps can I come and pick it up in person, or can I pay with you? Which is obviously always a bit challenging because we're an e-commerce. We can't get people to come in and actually buy stuff from us. So what we tend to do is say, look, you can buy online. You can pay in a few different ways, so you know your money is safe. So just choose the option that's best for you, and you've got peace of mind. You've got tracking as soon as you place your order. You can
Yeah.
follow the order. You have our phone number, our email address, so you can always be in touch with us if you're unsure of where your order is. And that's what sort of puts people's minds at rest. They know that their money is safe.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you think having those options available, particularly the buy now pay later solution, which is or solutions which are becoming increasingly popular both here in the UK and across Europe, do you think that that is helping you? I mean, I know one of your goals, we were chatting earlier, is to try and attract a slightly younger demographic to Woodland Leathers as well. Do you think that having that type of payment method and other payment methods operating seamlessly, do you think that helps attract a younger demographic?
Yeah, 100%. And I think we are trying really hard to showcase and offer a wider range of products. So
Yeah.
rather than focusing on our 50 plus audience, now we want to attract a younger audience. And of course, as you said, younger people, especially in this climate, are not able to afford a luxury item so easily. So offering such varied payment options is of course something that goes in our favor, because we're offering these young people the possibility to get their hands on a luxury bag without having to spend too much of their monthly income on it.
So lastly, Daniela, I'm conscious of your time as well, but lastly, predictions for e-commerce in 2021. What are your thoughts? There's speculation that mobile commerce might even trump e-commerce. It's perhaps a slightly unfortunate phrase given where we are politically in the US at the moment, but mobile commerce may trump e-commerce this year. Are you inclined to agree with that, or what are your thoughts?
Well, if you look at statistics, it looks like it's going to happen. If it hasn't already started happening, people are starting to buy things from their mobile more and more. That being said, it's also the case of a lot of people adding stuff to their basket via their mobile and then checking out from their computer. I myself I find myself doing it so often. I don't even know why I do it. I feel like buying from a computer makes it more real than buying it from my phone,
Yeah.
which is a really weird thing happening in our brains, because it is the exact same thing, just on a smaller device. It's a challenge for us because we have managed to get our website to a point where it looks really good on desktop.
Yeah.
However, it's not as functional on a mobile,
Okay.
which is something we're still working on. We want to improve it. We want it to make more user friendly. At the same time, as I said, majority of our customer base is of course 50 plus, which tends to shop more from desktops rather than mobiles.
Yeah.
So that sort of goes in our favor. But considering that we want to extend our audience a little bit, then we need to improve our e-commerce, and we need to make our mobile website a bit more user friendly for a younger audience. So that's a challenge that we're going to face in 2021, I think. As to a prediction for e-commerce in 2021, it's just really hard to say, because we were about to predict how the year would go last year, and then all of that happened, which made everything go upside down. In a way, it went better than we could have predicted. We were expecting sales to drop, which didn't happen.
Great.
They actually went up. So we're hoping that curve is gonna keep going up this year. But of course, it's hard to say, because now with Brexit as well, we have had some issues with our foreign suppliers having to get the goods over to the UK.
Yeah.
of course, that's going to affect our customer service as well, because there's customers waiting for jackets to be manufactured in Italy or Turkey, and these jackets are not going to take 2 weeks longer because of Brexit.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's a matter of figuring out where we stand once Brexit is done, once all the paperwork for Brexit is done, from our point of view at least, and then figure out how we can offer the best possible service in the current climate, and then we can sort of predict how things are going to go. And I think until COVID is, I wouldn't say it's over, because I don't think it's ever going to be over, but until things have sort of gone back to a slight normality, there is no way of us predicting how years are going to go.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. It's all very, very, very valid. Makes sense. Well, it sounds as if you've been doing great things and managing to grow during these difficult times. So I wish you best of luck with that and the continued growth in the business. Do you have any final sort of words of wisdom particularly for, I guess, smaller retailers that might be struggling in an environment? Any sort of words of wisdom of how to keep going and moving things along?
I think just engage with your customers. Show them that you're there, that you exist still, even if you might be struggling. Show that you are still trying your best to make the business work, and show that you care about the business, because people now are starting to buy from people that actually care about their products they're selling. So I think that's crucial nowadays.
Customer centric, customer focused.
Yeah, definitely.
Keep up the good service. Brilliant. Daniela, thanks so much for taking the time and joining this Retail Reboot Vlogcast. We'll go live in the coming weeks with our growing audience, and look forward to being in touch very soon.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye.